Alright, so we're here with Agent Zero, Philadelphia's own musician. He's got a new album, Sound Sorcery Volume 2, coming out. Noah, Agent Zero, can you tell us where do you think this album fits into your catalog stylistically compared to previous works?
Stylistically, and compared to previous works, I think that this album is just kind of building off of itself in previous works. It's just continuing the exploration of sound and kind of where I like to build, and where I, taking things that work and taking things that don't work, and also working with different kinds of like mix ideas and I guess that's the best way to describe it. Just kind of continuing the exploration from Sound Sorcery Volume 1.
So, are there any aspects of your music that you feel you tried to really emphasize on this album? Be it, in the mix or live instruments, anything like that?
There's definitely a lot more live instruments in this band. In this version of the album, or this second part from Sound Sorcery Volume 1 into Sound Sorcery Volume 2, I made really good friends with my friend Rob Potter. He's a UArts graduate, and he plays saxophone, so that's been like a nice crazy addition, as in addition to guitar from my boy Jay that we were messing with at first in Sound Sorcery Volume 1, and also another guitarist named Matei in the first album. But as far as that goes, it's just more of just like a honing in and focusing of the energies of the two, and really kind of intertwining the guitar and the saxophone within the bass and the rest of the progression of the music. That's kind of where it's going with that.
Awesome. So words like glitch hop, electro soul, future funk, things like that get tossed around a lot for electronic music these days. There's definitely a certain sound that we can attach to that. Would you attach any of those or any other genres to this album, or would you say that's kind of not really easy to attach a single or a couple of genres to it?
It's definitely multifaceted. I think that those words definitely work for a lot of the songs on the record. But as far as like one genre, it's really hard to kind of pinpoint, since I cover dubstep grooves, house grooves, also glitch hop, which is like mid-tempo kind of grooves, and also a little bit of liquid drum and bass here and there. But overall, the album is definitely psychedelic as far as like the way it sounds and the way it kind of like is presented. And if I were to call it any kind of genre, whether if it was like a new one, I guess how there's like hi-fi music, hi-fi or whatever, that kind of stuff, I would definitely call it like psy fidelity, like psychedelic fidelity music, because of the mixed quality and because of the psychedelic nature of the album. Of it just kind of it's so hard to explain. I guess it's like kind of how it grabs you and kind of sets a whole atmosphere, as far as not just like here's the beat, rock with it, blah blah blah. It's more just like, whoa, what's kind of happening here, and then you kind of walk into this mist,
right? More or less of building sound. An actual like realm of music.
Yeah, sort of. I guess that's the best way to describe it.
Oh, that's awesome. Can you name any particular acts or albums, musicians, anything like that that you feel have been a particularly strong influence on you or on this new album in particular?
Oh yeah, definitely. When I got into music, just like as appreciation, Jimi Hendrix is definitely my favorite from the past. But as far as like newer music in the last 8 years comes along, I'd say like definitely Sound Tribe Sector 9 was probably and it still is one of my favorite bands out there. In particular, just most of their live soundboard sounds is because they're meant to be heard live. But as far as studio albums go with electronic music nowadays, definitely kind of rewinding back into the past, Converting Vegetarians by Infected Mushroom was like one of my all-time favorite electronic albums, just because it covered so many genres and it didn't like stick to just like psytrance and kind of what they're doing now. But that was definitely my favorite album by far. And also I really like Lotus a lot. They've always been a huge influence on me. They're great. Humphreys McGee, and I guess that about covers my main influences, definitely.
So in there you named a lot of jam bands versus like individual producers or DJs.
Yeah.
I guess, can you talk about, I mean, you know, you said this new album features a lot more live instrumentation, but I guess, how do you feel that those, I guess, stuff that's like Jamtronica has factored into your music versus, I guess, do you feel like you're going for more of like a Jamtronica sound or like a producer DJ sound, or do you
kind of, yeah, I get where you're getting at. I think it's definitely kind of a mix of both. Just trying to do my own thing and kind of just like do what my ears like, but yeah, I can see that, you know, the influences definitely speak loudly from the Jamtronica scene, because I have the guitar and I got all that soloing going on and all that. I definitely think that the jam scene is definitely prevalent in my musical experiences, but as far as like bass music goes and stuff like that, it's kind of like an infusion of both. It sounds like a live band, but it's produced in a weird way. Yeah.
I got you. On the technical side of things, or actually no, let me rewind, sorry. I wanted to ask you, you mentioned before that you worked with a local saxophonist for this album.
Yeah.
What other, or if any, what other local musicians did you work with on this album?
Like I said, the guy who plays guitar on my album is Jason Luber. He goes by Jay Lubes. He's the man. Him and I used to play in this band called You Demon, like for a short period of time. It was fun. That's how we met, through my friend Timmy. And we just played a few times, but it was mostly me playing drums and them playing guitar and keys and a little bit of Ableton stuff. But that's how I met Jay, and then I was just like making beats, and I was like, I really need some kind of element other than just electronic stuff going on. This needs to have something else going on. So I hit up Jay, and then he played a few licks on some of my tracks and was like, oh, I love this, it sounds great. And then I spent like, I don't know how many days not sleeping, but like in the first album, just like chopping and arranging his random licks into a guitar solo with the first track on Sound Sorcery Volume 1, which was Dirty Game Cartridges. That was all just random licks that he did, and I kind of chopped it up into a solo to give him the idea of where I wanted the music to go. And then onto Sound Sorcery Volume 2, that's kind of where it's gone. I've kind of been like, hey, solo on this part, it sounds really great, let's keep going with this. And then we got Rob involved, and that's, you know, it just kind of got crazier from there.
Right on. Alright, so yeah, now switching over to the technical side of things. What software were you using making this album?
Primarily Ableton Live all day. I've always loved that program. It's been amazing to me. I used to use Logic back in school. I liked it, but there's too many technical blockades in the way. I feel that Ableton Live is very intuitive, very like just there, just like it's there for you, you know. It's there to accommodate you pretty quickly in a live setting, especially with the live looping function. You can make loops pretty much on the fly, and then quickly make more, and then build them off of each other. And it's just all about the speed, getting your idea out of your head and onto the program quickly.
So then when you're performing live, do you also use Ableton?
Yeah, I definitely use Ableton Live with an APC 40 and sometimes a MIDI keyboard with some live synth stuff going on. But I also have a audio interface called a Motu Ultralight MK3, which I will run my guitarist Jay into on a separate audio channel to mix him in with the rest of the tracks. And I use Native Instruments guitar rig for his amp modeling, so he's not actually playing through an amp, he's actually playing just straight into Ableton, but with digital amp modeling. And Rob is doing the same thing basically, but he's got a dry signal, which is just saxophone going into Ableton Live, but also a wet channel of affected sounds through his I think it's called TC Helicon vocoder voice box effects thing. It's made for voice, but he uses it with his saxophone and it comes out with some really cool things. Yeah. So that's basically the live setup, and now on the album release on March 20th, we're going to be debuting an awesome drummer at Comfy Necktie. I'm really excited about that.
Right on. You're also an engineer at the Boom Room in it's Fishtown, North Philadelphia.
Voila.
Did you utilize that at all in making this album?
Yeah, I recorded the saxophone here live in this vocal booth back here. Gary, the owner of the Boom Room, was I've been working with him for a while, and he was kind enough to get me a job after my internship here. And so now I just record here, so I have time on my hands. I come here, we use really nice mics here. It's really quality studio, and we use Pro Tools here to do that. So I'll use Pro Tools and the board, bounce out the audio channel of the saxophone, dry and wet from the affected channels, and just send it into my computer and like take it home and then mess with it from there. Very cool.
So yeah, as you said, March 20th, we can expect to see you right across the street here at Comfy Necktie.
Yep. Yeah, it's going to be a good show. I'm really excited, and we're debuting, like I said before, the drummer, my boy Ryan DJ Ha. So like that's going to be like, it's finally like going to be the whole shebang. It started kind of like just me finding, building my sound and kind of like going on the exploration, and then kind of picking up a few friends along the way, and really focusing in on this being like the full band finally that I've been wanting to have for a long time now.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be great. There's going to be physical copies, exclusive, just like handmade ones to sell for a couple bucks if you want to pay for them or whatever, but it'll be all over the web after that.
Cool. Well, we're really looking forward to it.
Yeah. Thank you, man.
Looking forward to the new album and the live band performance. That's all we have for you today.
Okay, cool. Thank you very much, Kyle.
Thank you.
Yep, see you soon. Hey guys, what's up? It's with great pleasure to announce the release of my 5th studio album, Sound Sorcery Volume 2. It's all being released on Friday night on March 20th at Comfy Necktie, right across the street from the Boom Room Studios. We're debuting a huge new dynamic in the form of a drum set with my boy Ryan DJ Ha playing drums. I can't stress the level of excitement that I'm feeling right now for this show, as well as live guitar and live saxophone from Jay Luber and Rob Potter. It's going to be a really great show. It also happens to fall on the equinox, so come on out. It's going to be a great show. We're also playing with Sexy Black Female and also the Wonder Bars. So come out, and big shout out to Funkadelphia for putting this release on their label. I'm really excited, so I'll see you guys there. Peace.